Hello, everyone, and welcome live to 3YTV tonight's broadcast of the Signarama 200 here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. It is the Bagcraft Grand National Series season finale here tonight at this beautiful 1.5 mile racetrack. I'm Peter Short, and joining me alongside is Bob Giaquinto. Bob, great to have you alongside here tonight. 200 miles between us right now and crowning a series champion.
Yeah, and what better place to come than Homestead Miami Speedway? This racetrack has so many different ways to get around it, and I can see these drivers using every single lane in the corners to try to make up as much time as possible throughout this race, and what better than to decide a championship here at Homestead?
Yeah, definitely one of the racetracks that I look forward to going to every year here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. But let's jump out there and let's talk about this driver right here, John Cannizzaro Jr., the number 12 machine. He is the points leader entering in tonight, Bob. And it's been a really impressive season by the wild child that we used to call him. We were concerned that he wouldn't be able to put together a full season, but he's done so. And then he also has done really well here in the Total Nonstop Racing Chase. And that is why we have eyes on him here tonight as he looks to pick up the Total Nonstop Racing League crown here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fernando Matos in the chat. Fernando, we will add that. How's it going here tonight, buddy? Hope you are well. Your home racetrack, Fernando, here, local to the Miami area. Hopefully you're having a good night, Fernando. And hopefully, Bob, you're having a good night just getting over the COVID.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling a heck of a lot better. Got my voice back, luckily, Sunday morning. So if I'm a little nasally here, I apologize in advance, but all is well, and I'm just ready to get back up here in this booth.
Yeah, glad to have you back up here in the booth as we have 1 minute 23 seconds left. JD Laird, fastest of all the drivers right now, currently on pit road. Here's the number 48 machine, Alec Daffin, who's put together some really good starts here in his early Total Nonstop Racing League career. He's going to pull to the bum side of the racetrack here in between turns number 2 and 3, and he's going to pull it back to pit road, trying to get some practice time just before we go over into qualifying. There's the number 57, Matt Rodriguez, going for a little bit of a spin out of turn number 4. Usually Calamity Corner here at Homestead Miami is turn number 4, although looks like here we got to turn number 2 being a little bit of Calamity Corner as well. Mike Floppy Tellier blasts his way down the backstretch in the Hello Kitty number 97 right here on your screen. He thinks he's got something going with that Hello Kitty Toyota Supra. That Hello Kitty look has been on his machines now for a while. Won a couple of races here on the channel in the National Sim Racing Association with that scheme, and he's trying to put it to the front here tonight, currently being scored 6th overall here in practice session. Vincent Valvano currently out there on the racetrack, or coming out there onto the racetrack, being scored in 12th here tonight, Bob, looking to put together another solid run.
Yeah, definitely. His finishes as of late have been very strong, and I mean, he's just one of those drivers that constantly improves week in and week out, and always does just a little bit better each and every week. And I'm really excited to see what the 2022 B season has for Vinny, because I mean, he's just really improved greatly, and probably one of the most improved drivers from the start of the season to where we are now.
Yeah, he continues to improve here in his TNR career. But we're over into the qualifying session now, as we'll see who will pick up the pole here tonight at this great racetrack for the season finale. Who will start on pole for the final event this season? JD Laird, the number 46 JDRgraphics.com Chevy Camaro, working his way up there onto the racing surface. He is coming down the backstretch right now. Let's see if we can go on board with the man who was fastest in practice just a little while ago. Look at that speed, bottom right-hand corner of the screen, 130 miles an hour, 138, I should say, right there in the middle of the corner. He gets loose coming out of turn number 4. He's going to get it woed up. He'll have another opportunity to go for pole here in just a moment, but that's not good there, Bob. He's going to have to take a tow back to pit lane and see if he can dial her up one more time for a hot lap. We'll keep our eyes on JD Laird as this qualifying session goes on. But here is John Cannizzaro Jr., Saytune Sports on the hood of the number 12 machine here tonight. trying to pick up that championship. We'll see what he can do. Fernando Matos also jumping into the session. That's good news. Fernando, it would be great to see you out there on the racetrack. And great to see you, Fernando. It's been a while since I last saw you here on the channel. And always great to see Fernando Matos, one of probably our longest term driver here on the channel. We had Fernando Matos back in one of the first leagues we ever broadcasted here on 3Y TV. And he's now been on 3Y TV for the past 3.5 years or so. So really great to have Fernando Matos in the field here tonight in the Signarama of Hollywood, Florida. 200 here as Canizaro comes around to complete his lap. What can the wild child do on his first qualifying lap? Goes top of the board, a 33.443. Philip Scott going to jump up into second. Matt Rodriguez, Mike Floppitelli, and Jamar Dumas round out our top 5. And just as I say that, we have a new driver inside the top 3. That'd be Jason Gracias, who goes third fastest of all in the number 1 machine. Possibly a driver that we expected to see more wins out of this season, but one driver we expect to see contending potentially for a win here tonight.
Yeah, Peter, Jason is one of those drivers, especially here at Homestead, where he always finds his way up to the front. Last season in the Monday Night Truck Thunder Series, here on 3Y TV, we saw him chase down John Canizaro Jr. and eventually got past him for the win in the closing lap. So, you know, maybe we'll see something like that tonight as this race unfolds.
2 minutes left here in qualifying. What about JD Laird? We were talked about him. We said, hey, you got to keep your eyes on JD Laird. He screwed up his first qualifying lap, or his hot lap, his out lap, I should say, rather. In the number 46 machine, screwed it up, went back to pit lane, came back out there on the racetrack, fresh set of tires, fastest, a 33.424, fastest of all drivers here on the provisional pole, and we don't have a lot of drivers still left to go. John Eckhart, the 4th, and James Arello are probably the last couple of darts that he is going to have to miss. Here comes the number 13 machine of Lorello, who's had some mixed results here in the past at this particular racetrack on 3Y TV. Currently sitting 12th out of the 12 drivers to take time. So Lorello here going to have to pick it up on lap number 2. Kevin Stone in the Famucci wear, number 14, still out there on the racetrack as well in his Ford Mustang, racing down the backstretch towards turn number 3 here. Kevin Stone has put together some pretty decent results as of late in his Ford Mustang. Trying to turn things around in the Famucci wear machine. Gets a little bit loose off turn number 4, maybe just practicing getting to pit lane, as he does not look like he's going to pick any time up on lap number 2. James Arello, however, he did not pick up any time on lap number 2 as well. Lorello will be starting deep in the field here tonight. Not a huge field as it is the season finale. A lot of the drivers who are no longer eligible for the championship have decided to take some additional time off here for the off-season, and there is an off-season, about 5 weeks long. Bob, they'll be doing some stadium super truck races, which will be a lot of fun, and who knows, maybe I can get my feet wet in some of those, and maybe, who knows, maybe even broadcast them here on the channel from the driver's seat. I don't know what's in store here over the next couple of weeks, but there is an off-season at least from the Grand National Series, and rumor has it they're going to be going to the next-gen car for next season here at Total Nonstop Racing.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Those next-gen cars are really tough to drive, and they're hard to figure out, but once you get them going, they are a lot of fun to drive in, and a lot more hard to control than the previous version of the Cup Series cars. So, you know, I think that's a good move for this league, and you know, get a little more interest out there for other drivers. So I think it's going to be a good move for next season when they move to the next-gen cars.
The field just now working their way out onto the racetrack here. Qualifying results are in, and let's see if we can bring up tonight's starting lineup here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. The Signarama of Hollywood, Florida 200, JD Laird on the pole. John Canizaro Jr. will be starting to his outside, who with just starting this race will pretty much be clinched as our series champion. Jason Gracias, Alec Daffin will be on row number 2. Matt Rodriguez, Kevin Stone, row number 3. Jamar Dumas, Philip Scott, row number 4 here tonight. Keep your eyes on that number 99. We usually have several Philip Scott fans in the chat here on the channel. Bill Edwards and Tristan Thuggy Maher will be rounding out our top 10 here tonight. John Eckhart, the fourth, Mike Floppy Tellier on row number 6. And looking just a little bit further back, James Arello, Vincent Valvano, Garrett Gleason, and Fernando Matos rounding out our 16-car grid here for the Signarama of Hollywood, Florida 200 at beautiful Homestead, Miami Speedway. Pace car lights are off. We'll get rolling here in just a moment. And as I say that, yeah, we are rolling here, Bob. Going to get set 200 miles here. A couple of stage cautions that these drivers will have to keep in mind. Those stage cautions, I believe, Bob, that they will be coming out on lap number 38 and 75. So we'll have to jot those down in our notes here tonight, right around the kind of 1/3 race distance and around the halfway mark. So keep that in mind, Bob, and we'll get those two cautions out of the way. But hopefully we can go clean and green because this racetrack always puts on a show.
Yeah, that's for sure, Peter. But if we do have cautions and if we do have lucky dogs, right now, Brady Todd, the leader of the Polyhedral Cathedral Luckiest Dog of the Year award with 5 lucky dogs on the season. But there's a good battle here for second between James Lorello, the 3 of Jason Shue, who's not in tonight's field, and Keith Carball, who's also not in tonight's field as well. So, right now, this is kind of Brady Todd's race to win, even with him not being in the field. But Lorello, if he gets 1, maybe even 2 lucky dogs, we'll see what happens here.
Pace car is down pit road. Field is in the flagman's hand. And we're racing here in the Signarama of Hollywood 200 here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Racing off towards turn number 1. J.D. Laird in that number 46 machine is off already to a good start here, Bob, as he clears John Cannizzaro as we head down the backstretch.
Yeah, great launch there by Laird. And, Laird is definitely one of those drivers to keep an eye out for. Once he gets up front, it's incredibly hard for him to be passed. But look at this move. Matt Rodriguez to the inside of Alec Daffin. Daffin slides up the track just a little bit. That inside line is going to be the shorter way around, but the outside line is going to carry a little more momentum. And there goes Daffin back around the 14 of Stone.
So some good battling mid-pack. Daffin going to go up to that top side again. I've not really ever seen that top side be that good here, honestly. At least in this particular sim, we'll put it that way. As John Cannizzaro, though, used that high line to get a run around J.D. Laird, trying to pick up the bonus point for leading a lap here, and he will do so as our points leader comes around to lead lap number 2. Look at some of the racing a little bit further back. That's Matthew Rodriguez to the inside now of Kevin Stone. Philip Scott in the number 99 also looking a little bit racy. A little bit further back, Alec Daffin side by side with former series champion Bill Edwards as Kevin Stone gets up out of the groove. Bob, let's see if we can figure out what happened here to the number 14 machine, because he was all out of shape here just a moment ago.
Yeah, let's take a look here. They're driving through turns 1 and 2. I don't know if he caught a bit of the seam there going through the corner or what, but there he is right on the high side, and yeah, I guess he might have gotten that right rear tire on the seam. Yep, got a little squirrely and had to chase his car up the track.
Really good save there out of the Famucci, right number 14. That's the live look. Racing with Tristan Thuggy Maher for the 10th position right now. Up at the front of the field, pretty much all single file as the field starts to spread out. This is some good racing. John Eckhart, the 4th, and Alec Daffin currently duking things out for the 7th position, which is currently held by that number 48 Twitch machine. Alec Daffin, let's see if we can go on board. I believe he has his Twitch there on the back of his machine. Give us a good look there for Lixbo Mayton. Like Alex Bowman, but instead of an A, it's a 4, and instead of an O, it's an 8. That probably makes the most sense. So if you want to go check out Alec Daffin on Twitch, make sure you do that. There you go. Nice, good look at it. Thank you very much, John Eckhart. Do appreciate that that look there. It also looks like he's got a YouTube channel as well as an Instagram. So if you want to go check out Alec Daffin and that number 48 machine, he might be streaming right now. Not 100% sure. But look at this gaggle of drivers right behind him. That is the number 13 of James Arello trying to charge his way through. The field started back here tonight in 13th. Lost another spot, I think, to John Eckhart, the 4th, right as the checkered flag flew on qualifying. But he's worked his way up 4 spots, and right back behind him, Tristan Dougie Maher. Oops, sorry about that. Tristan Dougie Maher, there he is, in the Bagcraft Ford Mustang. Ooh, man, that inside line really checked up. Kevin Stone just looked like Rocket Man on the outside. I was just about to say, Dougie, is that one car spinning at the top of the screen? I might have seen someone go around. I think everyone's okay. I thought I saw someone get really loose up off the corner. It might have been Garrett Gleason. Let's see if we can go back and get a 3-wide TV replay and see what happened here to the Comans Care number 7 machine. Or maybe I'm just envisioning things, folks. That might happen too. Gets up out of turn number 4. Oh, that's the wall, G money in the wall. And I was about to say that's another wall on the inside. Trying to make those squiggly lines there on the inside of the racetrack. An additional chicane on the front stretch, but unfortunately Garrett Gleason has quite a bit of right side damage now in the Comans Care number 7, excuse me. And Bob, Comans Care, G, you're not caring for the car like Comans Care.
I hate to see it, and this is one of those days that G was having. He was saying before the race that he had stopped to get some groceries and whatnot, and was pushing the cart to his car and very nicely tip the cart over and launch all his groceries into a bush. So, it's just kind of par for the course right now for G, and hopefully his night turns a little bit better here.
Garrett Gleason, folks, you heard it right here on 3-wide TV. Total failure. Total failure. Oh, he's in the wall. He's in the wall. Garrett, bro.
Oh, man.
Bro, this is a bad look, bro. Oh, boy. Folks, if you don't know, Garrett Gleason and Bob and I, we go back many, many years, and if there's anyone that I'm going to do that to, it is the driver in that number 7 machine here tonight. Hopefully, he can put things back together, get that damage repaired, and to have some fun out there. But meanwhile, up at the front of the field, this is a battle for the race lead, because Jason Gracias, we said watch out for that number 1 machine here tonight, folks. He is very good at this racetrack, and he and John Cannizzaro Jr. have put on some really good battles in the past at this racetrack with one another, racing around. I think it was in the National Sim Racing Association not all too long ago that these two duked it out all the way to the checkered flag, I think, in their truck series. But right now, they are running first and second, as Gracias now has a look to the inside here. Going to be side by side for the race lead. Can the number 1 of Gracias get the power down? He went really low there on the racetrack, Bob. I've never really found any grip on that very bottom line. I personally like to hover about a lane up off the white line here. For some reason, there tends to be a little bit grip there. That's about the line I like to run right there, although Cannizzaro might have got a little bit squirrely as I saw a little bit of hand movement through the windshield. Number 12, they're getting a little bit of air packed underneath that rear spoiler by the number 1 of Gracias. As Gracias again has a lunge to the inside, and now can Gracias pull this off? He again goes right down to that white line.
Yeah, what a battle there, and that right there shows it. The inside line, definitely the quickest way around, but you do get such a good run coming out of the corner from that top line, and you could drive in so much deeper on the bottom there. Look at how the one of Gracias just drove all the way down in. He's got about half a car length now in front of Cannizzaro, and he'll jump back up and complete the pass. But look at this run by Cannizzaro. He's going to try to get to the inside coming up into turn 1. Can't quite get there, but man, what a great battle.
Yeah, good battle for the race lead. Jason Gracias in the number 1 now out front. J.D. Laird in the number 46 has slid back to 3rd. Hot start for Matthew Rodriguez. He started in 5th here tonight. He's gained 1 position on his run up into 4th now. Meanwhile, behind him, a couple of drivers who have picked up 3 spots since the drop of the green flag. That is the number 99 of Philip Scott and Bill Edwards in tow. Those 2 drivers started 8th and 9th position here. Meanwhile, behind them, the biggest mover of the race, James Lorello, is trying to get around Kevin Stone. They're side by side off towards turn number 1. Looks like Lorello will indeed take that spot. So he started 13th, now running up into the 7th position here tonight. He's got a little bit of a look of the track map on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. You can see where your favorite driver is currently running. Those are all the different car numbers out there on the racetrack that's on that graphic. So you can figure out exactly where your driver is relative to the race leaders. If you're in the chat here tonight, we want to hear from you. We want to hear what you have to say. It is the season finale here tonight. We'll likely see John Cannizzaro Jr. crowned the series champion here at Homestead Miami Speedway. But we want to know what you thought of this season. There's been we haven't been on the air past couple of weeks. We've been told to take some time off for rest and relaxation to make sure we're here for the final night. And I'll tell you what, it's been really, really good season, and I'm looking forward to what is all in store here over the next coming weeks in the Total Nonstop Racing League, as we have this battle here starting to break out between the number 99 and the number 50. Philip Scott and Bill Edwards duking things out for that position. Meanwhile, up front, Gracias has worked his way up to now about a 3/4 of a second lead. Well, let's look at this battle a little bit further back. There was almost contact back here, Bob.
Yeah, just a lot of drivers fighting over the same piece of real estate. A few guys got a little close to each other. I don't think there was any actual contact, but a lot more evasive action between these drivers here as Daffin got really high up off the racetrack. And there's Thuggy Maher down on the bottom, and I don't know if that was netcode there or what had happened, but the 17 and Maher had to dodge out of the way, thought they were going to run into each other.
Well, I definitely think there was some contact. Back to live scenes now as Daffin and Maher are still racing side by side. Daffin throwing up a lot of right side sparks on the number 48 machine. Right now, currently battling for the 9th position with Tristan Thuggy Maher. It has not been a good start to the race for Alec Daffin. He started in the 4th position, now has fallen outside of the top 9, 2/10. That's -6, equaling the number of spots that James Arello has picked up from the start of tonight's race. And he's running that lineup there, Bob, that I've never really liked. I've always scrubbed too much tire on that top line and ended up just eating away at the tires as Kevin Stone and Tristan Thuggy Maher do battle. Looks like Maher going to pick up the 8th position here. It's a good job by Tristan to move another spot closer to the front. Meanwhile, we missed the pass for the 5th position. Bill Edwards has recently pulled off that pass. Let's see if we can go back and catch that one here on the 3-wide TV replay. Happened on lap number 18. We're now working lap number 19, so this was just about a lap ago. Edwards getting to the outside. Bob, that was a really powerful move there by the number 50, and it looks like Philip Scott, a little bit of give and take, just let him have it.
A big old power move there by Bill Edwards, and Philip Scott saw him in the mirror and said, you know what, it's still early on in the race. We're only 20 laps into this thing. I'll let him go by. I'll be able to get past him sometime later on down this road. But look at Bill Edwards now. He's looking to the inside, a couple of chrome cars battling it out between he and the 57 of Matt Rodriguez.
Yeah, this is the battle right now for the 4th position. So Edwards really on a charge here. And you have to remember, Bob, that we're right now coming to about 18 laps until we see our first stage caution here tonight at the Homestead Miami Speedway. If you're just now joining us, we've been clean and green for the opening 20 laps, minus a few little minor scuffles with the wall. We've seen Garrett Gleason get into the wall. Alec Daffin has thrown up some sparks in the number 48 as well. But these drivers trying to keep the fenders clean here tonight, because this racetrack in particular, Bob, you need lots of good aerodynamics here. And hitting that wall can really, really ruin your night.
Yeah, that's for sure. The speeds alone going through the corners, I mean, we saw it in qualifying there, going about 140, 145 miles an hour through the corners, and you're getting up to probably about 165, 170 up the straightaway. So, this is one of those tracks where you get a little bit of damage, it really could ruin your night quickly.
Meanwhile, biggest mover of the race so far, James Arello, now trying to close in on the back of the number 99 and Philip Scott, although Tristan Thuggy Maher all of a sudden appears like he's been shot out of a cannon. The number 17 here has not only pulled away from Alec Daffin, but he's run down these two battling for the 6th position right now. 17 of Maher to the inside of Arello here as we flash by the start-finish line. Just about 15 laps now until we see our first caution flag of the night. Maher now going to go up to the top side of the race. He said, you know what, I'm going to try something different up here. Going to try and get that momentum up off the corner. Does so. Can he draw level with the number 13 of Lorello? No, he cannot, at least not this time. Going to have a look, though, to the inside here off into turn number 3 and 4. A little bit of a late lunge by Maher. Going to try and find that grip down there. Wasn't able to do so a lap ago, but he's in a better position than he was this time a lap ago, Bob. Now side by side with Lorello, and has, in my opinion, the preferred line going off towards turn number 1. Going to try and hook that middle groove. No, he goes all the way down to the white line. But nonetheless, able to complete the pass as he slides up in front of Lorello. But can Lorello come back at him with a little bit of momentum off turn number 2? He's going to look. Bob, good battling here midfield.
Yeah, fantastic battling, and each driver kind of playing to their strengths, where Maher is able to get around and just kind of muscle his way through. A little more finesse from the 13 of Lorello. And look at this side-by-side battle. Still, this is what, 3-4 laps these guys have been battling side-by-side? And if I'm Philip Scott, I'm just saying, all right, let them battle out. I'm going to keep driving here, because at the end of the stage, all 3 of these drivers will be getting stage points, as the top 8 get stage points here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. And you know, right now they're all just saying, all right, we all have stage points. I just want one more.
Meanwhile, side-by-side battle for the second position. J.D. Laird has run down John Cannizzaro Jr. Look at Bill Edwards almost making contact with John Cannizzaro. He saw that opportunity that J.D. Laird had opened the door for Bill, and Bill wanted to take it. And all of a sudden, Cannizzaro drops from second down to potentially 4th here, maybe even 5th, because Matthew Rodriguez is right there behind him as well, still side by side as we race off into turn number 3. Here's a good look of that side-by-side battle. Cannizzaro marches up to the top side of the racetrack, hit that seam a little bit, lost a little bit of grip, and Bob, all of a sudden, Cannizzaro from 2nd back to 5th in just a handful of laps. He won't be all too happy with that.
That's for sure. Fortunately for him, it's not really going to do all that much in the championship standings. However, the second place driver in the standings is Bill Edwards, so I'm sure this is even one of those things where Bill's like, all right, you may have won the championship. Let me just get this better finish at least, one more time before the season's out.
A little bit of a last laugh, if you will, even though presumably the last laugh goes to the champion, but Tristan Thuggy Maher put the pass on Philip Scott. Lorello now trying to put his number 13 machine on past the number 99, as that will indeed happen, and Lorello will work his way up into 7th. Here comes Alec Daffin trying to recover after his struggles. He's been running down there in 9th, and if he can get around Philip Scott, he will put himself in 8th. Sure enough, he does. So with 10 laps to go until the stage caution, now the question becomes, can J.D. Laird run down Jason Gracias? We got the driver on pit road. John Cannizzaro Jr. is on pit road. That's interesting, Bob. I expected to see him try and make it to the stage caution, but an early pit stop for John Cannizzaro Jr. here tonight. A bit of a surprise from the driver who is our points leader. Meanwhile, John Eckhart and Kevin Stone just swapped position. Eckhart moving up into 9th. Kevin Stone, some right side damage. He must have made some contact with the outside wall. Not sure what happened there. Meanwhile, John Cannizzaro Jr., he's in his pit box. There he is, and he's down and away. Trying to pick up maybe a Lucky Dog award here tonight, Bob, because Lucky Dog going to come out here in about 8 laps from now. And currently, Cannizzaro Jr. is the only driver 1 lap down or more. So maybe he's thinking about that Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dog Award, the luckiest Lucky Dog Award. How many does Cannizzaro have to his name?
Let me pull up the standings here. Looks like this might actually be the Wild Child's first one, should he get the Lucky Dog Award this time by.
Well, that's not all too exciting. So I was hoping he was 1 or 2 away, and maybe had that as a strategy here tonight to try and get a little bit extra bonus out of Polyhedral Cathedral at the end of the season, because I know he's a conniving one, is John Cannizzaro Jr. Jamar Dumas got around Kevin Stone to move himself up into the top 10 in the Stay Tuned Sports number 28 Chevy Camaro, one of our chase drivers this season. But now the question becomes, and I was just about to say this before Cannizzaro worked his way down pit road, is if you're watching this gap up at the front of the field, I think you'd probably be very interested in it because in the last 10 laps here, JD Laird has come from about 2.5 seconds back to now just about a half second behind Jason Gracias, although you can see some pretty big gaps, or time gaps, I should say, between those two drivers. It seemed like it's starting to slow up maybe just a little bit as we have now 6 laps as they go across the start-finish line until we see our first stage caution of the night. Only 2 stage cautions, one scheduled here on lap number 38, the second of which will come out on lap number 75. Laird wants to take home those bonus points here after starting tonight on the pole.
Yeah, for sure. And, Laird isn't one of the championship drivers. Neither is the one of Jason Gracias. But, I mean, it's still a bit of bragging rights. You can sit there and say, hey, I still won this race. I still won that stage point, and that kind of deal. So, they're definitely going to give it their all. And, I mean, these two drivers have been the class of the field all season long. When things have gone right, they've gone really right for both of these drivers.
Yeah, JD Laird, of course, unable to complete a full schedule as he helps out in the iRacing NASCAR Coca-Cola E-Series that they have going. And JD really involved in that and his team. And, of course, TNR Graphics also being able to be prominent on several of the cars in the Coca-Cola eNASCAR series. And now you see Gracias starting to catch up to a couple of the lapped cars. First one there in the number 24. That is Fernando Matos, the Brazilian-born driver now living out of the Miami, Florida area. Is he going to go down a lap? Kevin Stone also on pit lane as JD Laird looks to the inside. How about this 3 wide for the race lead? And who's going to back out of it? Fernando Matos is going to back out of it, but get up into the outside wall. Gracias now sliding up the racetrack. He's able to catch it just before he gets into the outside wall. I'm sure Fernando Matos went, oh, hey guys, wow. It's a little early in the race to be doing that.
Man, and just like that, look at this lap traffic for both of these drivers have to fight their way through. Gleason goes all the way down to the bottom, and this is going to be the battle not only for the lead, but for the lucky dog as well, as there's Cannizzaro able to get around these guys, and looks like Cannizzaro might throw a little wrench in this battle too.
Yeah, Cannizzaro, of course, on fresher tires. Is he going to try and get that lucky dog award? I don't know. Meanwhile, JD Laird going to drop to the inside of the racetrack and take the lead of the race right back. He started, of course, on the pole, once again up at the point. John Cannizzaro staying still in that lucky dog position. He's probably eyeing up this battle for the lead, going, you know what, I have fresher tires. I might be able to unlap myself, but there's really nowhere to go right now. It's a ways back to Bill Edwards. There's the third place machine right now. What a great opening run it has been for the number 50 Silent Syndicate Racing S2R machine, as he's raced his way from 9th up into 3rd. Meanwhile, we got a couple of other drivers coming down pit road. These drivers not able to make it on fuel. Dougie Maher and Vincent Valvano, Jason Gracias now coming down. I'm wondering here, Bob, if maybe we're not going to have stage cautions tonight. It seems like we should. The race notes say that we should, but it seems odd that all these drivers are coming down pit road right before when we're going to have that stage caution.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised as well because even here in the session from race control, Jason Gracias himself, the stages are at laps 38 and 75. So I would expect once 8th place crosses the line on this lap, we're going to get a yellow. But I wonder if drivers are just going to come down now, try to get fuel and tires and whatnot before they actually pit and, try to keep track position or what's going on. But this is interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. JD Laird, is he going slow? I think he's going slow. I think he's saving fuel, trying to save as much fuel. The caution flag has waved, and he will be our race leader here in just a little bit. Meanwhile, we have some drivers like James Arell. How about this? The driver who started this race in the 13th position, called his own number in qualifying. He saved enough fuel to make it to the end of stage number 1. And I don't even know who our lucky dog is going to be after all that mess. Jason Gracias in the 1 is being scored 1 lap down. John Cannizzaro Jr. being scored 1 lap down. It's kind of an interesting one. Actually, no, I take that back. I apologize. Looks like John Canizaro Jr., Bill Edwards both on the lead lap, as was Jason Gracias as live timing and scoring updates. But an interesting one, a very interesting strategy call. Good job there by J.D. Laird. We'll let him get on and off pit road, and then maybe we can catch a word with driver of the number 46, as Fernando Matos here might be taking the wave around, as I believe he had come down pit road just before the stage caution. So yeah, J.D. Laird coming onto pit road, as is James Zarello. Good strategy calls by these drivers.
Yeah, really smart calls, just being able to save just enough fuel. And I'm a little surprised that Laird was able to save that much, especially with that battle towards the end of the stage with Gracias. So even better on him. But what a heck of a run by the 13 of Lorello. You know, like you'd said, Peter, started back in 13th place, finished this first stage in second, and I mean, it felt like his truck was on rails this whole time around.
So the ambulance, oh man, those are some textures iRacing that you need to fix. I don't know what's up with that ambulance. It's going a little bit wonky there. But JD is
it's just the Florida ambulance.
It's Florida man in an ambulance.
Florida man.
I'll tell you what. But JD's working his way back out onto the racetrack and will be our race leader. Well, actually won't be our race leader. Here is, Mike Floppy Tellier, something's happened to the number 97 Hello Kitty machine, and this is not looking good. Had just worked his way off pit road when something must have happened. He'd already lost his back end. Not sure what had happened, why he lost the back end of the number 97. Could only assume maybe a pit road mishap, and then he was trying to get to pit road again, locked him up, and avoided the wall and the tire barriers this time. We've seen Mike Tellier have issues with the barriers, those barrels at the end of pit road. But let's see if I can figure out what may have happened just a little while ago to driver of the number 97 machine. Not seeing anything just yet here, Andre, but trying to go back and see if anything jumps out at me, but I'm not seeing anything. This must have happened a while ago based off of what I'm seeing.
Just glad he didn't pull a Darlington there and get up close and personal with those barrels. It looked like he was on the right track for him, but luckily he was able to get it all slowed up and didn't go sand climbing tonight. Luckily,
the pit crew has somehow found rear bumpers, so they'll throw on that already pre-crinkled rear bumper, for the number 97 machine. Meanwhile, back live, let's see if we can get a quick word with JD Laird. Actually, sometimes, he's not in the Discord. So if he's not in the Discord here, let's see if we can get a word with James Zarello right back behind him real fast, and see if he has something to say about that little run right there. Well, I can't seem to move him into... Oh, there we go, James Zarello. Real quick, Peter Hurt 3OY TV booth. Got a copy?
Gotcha.
Well, really good strategy call to save fuel under that run. A lot of drivers had to come down pit road. Just how close were you?
Yeah, I had about 2 laps to the good, so I could have made it to lap 40. Felt pretty good about it, and just started saving right from when we left pit road.
Well, you started all the way back in 13th. You were looking really good out there on the racetrack. How's the number 13 driving?
It's pretty good. I was doing a lot of saving that run. This one, I'll have to pick up the pace a little bit, so let's see how it goes.
All right, well, we'll let him get back to his Silent Syndicate Racing team down there. Quick word with driver of the number 13 machine of James Zarello, currently our biggest mover in the field, as the iRacing pace truck lights have turned off. We're getting set to go back green here, Bob, in just a moment. The lap number 44 here tonight, just over 90 laps left here in the season. We're winding in on the final 100 miles left of the year in the Total Nonstop Racing League Bagcraft Grand National Series, and I can't say enough about Bagcraft and bagcraftcornhole.com and what they have had to offer to this series. We're back green flag, lap number 44. J.D. Laird takes it away, and he gets a huge jump on the field, Bob. Now the big
Yeah, it
question.
looks like
Well, the big question I'm going to have here is tires. Different drivers on different tire strategies.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this is going to work. Looks like almost everyone has about 4 laps or so on their tires, but I'm sure a lot of them came down, especially the guys who are a lap or so down, wound up coming down just getting fuel or getting some damage fixed and that sort of thing. But I'm just wondering how many laps left, how many tires they have left. What all's going to go on as we see a giant snake down the front straightaway.
Yeah, and I'm unsure who was the driver to pick up the Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dog Award. It may have been Tristan Thuggy Maher because he was starting towards the back of the lead pack. Now 3 wide, going off into the corner. Kevin Stone, the meat in the sandwich, and the Famucci Ware Ford Mustang, they're able to stay clean, but that was a close call for driver of the number 14 right there. Meanwhile, back up towards the front of the field, Philip Scott worked his way up to third with that strategy call. Jason Gracias, who was the race leader at one point before losing out to J.D. Laird, he had to come down pit road before that stage caution, so he pitted on lap number 40 with the leaders, I think just to top off with fuel, but he was on the lead lap when the caution flag flew, so that was a little bit of an advantage to the Bagcraft Toyota Supra, but right now running in the 4th position, right in front of Matthew Rodriguez. Alec Daffin running in 6th, and John Cannizzaro in 7th. Meanwhile, a little bit of snaking happening a little bit further back here as the 28 machine, Jamar Doom, is trying to find a way around John Eckhart the 4th.
Yeah, Eckhart just got into the wall a little bit coming out of turn 4 there. The 17 of Maher was right behind him. They both kind of had to duck out of the way, take some evasive actions there. Everyone looking good for the most part, but looked like Eckhart just grabbed the wall a tiny bit and everyone had to dodge and try to avoid everyone else.
The Jamar Dumas in that. Oh, Thuggy gets the wall, and Tellier might have caught the wall there as well off of turn number 4. Some sparks flying here just after the first restart of the night. Just now joining us, we had that stage caution come out on lap number 39 with 38 laps completed. We will have another in about 30 laps or so from now at the completion of lap number 75. With some good racing happening back here mid-pack. Meanwhile, Bill Edwards, Bob, he's one of those drivers who came down onto pit lane maybe a little bit early. Just checking to see when Edwards did finally come onto pit road. He came onto pit road on lap number 38, so 1 lap before the caution flag flew. So he's got relatively fresh tires, but he's dropped back a little bit here. He raced his way up towards the top 3, but he was definitely strong on the longer run. We'll see whether or not he can pick up that pace here over this run as we close in on that lap number 75 stage break.
Man, Peter, every time they get so close to that wall coming out of turn 4, I'm just waiting for one of them to hit that wall a little bit too hard, bounce off of it, and collect the rest of the field there behind them. They're getting really close coming out of 4.
They are getting really close to one another there. Meanwhile, up towards the front of the field, James Arello, Jason Gracias racing for position. Gracias able to work his way around Philip Scott just a moment ago to get back one of the spots that he's lost here due to this pit cycle. Meanwhile, we got this good gaggle of machines. Bill Edwards currently being scored in 8th. Dumas in 9th. There, John Eckhart in the 45 in 10th. And a couple of drivers behind him. Tristan Thuggy Maher, the last driver on the lead lap, in 11th. We got Kevin Stone, Mike Tellier, Vincent Galvano, Garrett Gleason, and Fernando Matos. Those 5 drivers in need of a Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dog Award to get back on to the lead lap here tonight.
And speaking of that lucky dog, if the 17 of Maher was the lucky dog, that'll actually put him tied for 2nd right now with 3 lucky dogs on the year. So he would then be tied with Lorello at the end of the season if everything stays the same.
Up at the front of the field, J.D. Laird has about a half second on that driver we were just mentioning there, James Lorello, as they head towards the flagman here at this racetrack. Get a beautiful look of all these drivers working their way off turn number 4. Everyone pretty much getting single file, but they really do like to fan out in the middle of the corners. Let's look at all these different lines being driven by the different drivers. Look at Bill Edwards going all the way up to the top side of the racetrack. Most drivers kind of favoring that middle groove that I mentioned that I prefer when I race at this particular racetrack. But, some drivers kind of run a little bit higher up the racetrack. Some drivers running right down there on the yellow line. And even seen some drivers up there kind of scraping the outside wall, if you will. Been very fun to see these drivers in action. And then you also have this camera. Get to see these drivers race by at 140 miles an hour. James Varela there almost taking out our camera. Kamar Dumas whipping on by. It really is a fun racetrack to go to, and it honestly does give some of the best views, in my opinion, in all of sim racing. And you have to think, Bob, back to around the 2003 season, I think it was the 2004 season, rather, when they reconfigured this joint. And they made it have the banking it has now, that gave it progressive banking, because this racetrack is actually on its 3rd iteration. It started off as a mini Indianapolis back in the mid-90s, where it had 4 unique flat corners that made this racetrack a rectangle. It had those 4 90 degrees corners, and a lot of drivers didn't think it was safe because you'd be carrying so much speed off into those corners, and the corners were so tight, not like Indianapolis where the corners are long sweeping corners. They were pretty tight corners that you'd come across. And then they decided, well, you know what, let's kind of radius off the corners. Let's make it one long sweeping corner. Let's keep it flat. And they did. They kept it a flat track, a flat mile and a half. It was really heavy on right front tires because it was so flat, and pretty heavy on brakes as well. And it put on a decent race. Then they decided to give it progressive banking. It became what it was now, I believe, in 2003. And it's really been a really good track over the years. Of course, playing host to the NASCAR season finale for many consecutive seasons. I think Jimmy Johnson won all of his championships at Homestead Miami Speedway. So it's a racetrack that really will go down in NASCAR folklore as we move forward into the future. It really has for as long as it's been on the schedule of NASCAR, which in the grand scheme of things is not all that long, it does have quite a bit of history here.
Yeah, for sure. And I think too, with the new next gen cars and the way they've been racing at 1.5 mile racetracks, this is going to be a lot of fun when they do finally go back here. I sorely miss having this track as the finale and the season ending race, just because it's the racing product that goes on here is just so good, and quite frankly is a lot better than what goes on at Phoenix and some of the other tracks that have been out there on the circuit. So hopefully one day, especially now with the new next gen cars, the real Cup Series comes back here for a season finale race. But just having this Grand National Series here, the Bagcraft cornhole guys, just racing here for the championship race, it's awesome. And this track always puts on a fantastic battle all throughout the field.
Meanwhile, if you're looking on YouTube right now, 3 Wide TV also has a 3 Wide TV live stream going on from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I'm not sure what's going on there. Mr. Carlos Acosta must be having some fun here with the channel here tonight. He's got that going, so you can almost get side-by-side 3 Wide TV action. What's better than that? Let's go check out the chat here tonight. It's been mostly quiet, unfortunately. The Windsor's in the chat. We got Ryder Lee Engel also rooting on the number 99 machine of Philip Scott. Let's go check out Philip because we haven't checked in on him in a while. He's actually lost another spot to Matthew Rodriguez since we last checked in. Rodriguez able to get on by. Been really impressed with the number 57 here tonight. But here comes Alec Daffin in the number 48 looking to the high side. We've seen Philip really provide give and take to drivers off into turn number 1. He does so there again, as we're now about 15 laps away from seeing our second stage caution, our second and final stage caution of the night, and final stage caution of the entire season, as it is season finale night. John Canizaro Jr. basically a shoo-in to the championship, scored down in the 9th position right now behind Bill Edwards and Jamar Dumas as they go toe-to-toe for the 7th spot out of turn number 4. Bill Edwards comes into tonight 2nd place in points in the Silent Syndicate S2R Chevy Camaro, so he has something to race for. By now, with the number 12 of John Canizaro Jr. having the night he's having just inside the top 10, that will pretty much secure his championship. But we do have one driver on pit road, the Coleman's Care number 7 of Garrett Gleason coming to his pit stall. Let's see the Fuzzy Wuzzies in their purple leotards come out to service the number 7 machine. You can see the Fuzzy Wuzzy pit board there that the number 7 hits. I don't even know who that particular character is. I'm just making up names here on the fly on 3Y TV because that's what we do. And it might be night done for Garrett Gleason. That's an extended stay on pit road. Not seeing any tires going on. We'll keep our eyes on whether or not Garrett can work his way back out there onto the racing surface. But J.D. Laird is the leader and has pulled away from James Zarello. Number 13 now sitting about 1.5 seconds behind the lead. Matthew Rodriguez has also been passed by Alec Daffin for the 4th position. Let's see how Daffin was able to complete that pass just a moment ago in the 3Y TV replay. Coming out of turn number 4, Rodriguez there gets tight, has to check up, and there, Bob, nothing Rodriguez could really do to put up a fight as the 48 drives on by.
Yeah, it looks like the 48's car really likes these long runs. He was able to move his way up kind of methodically through the field, able to get around the 99, then the 57. Now Daffin currently sitting in the 4th position, able to move up a few more places since we restarted the race after lap number 1. And, looks like the 20 of Dumas just got into the wall just a little bit as we see this battle now between the 17 of Maher and the 12 of Canizaro.
Yeah, right now, Canizaro in 9th, Maher in 10th. We have seen Maher flirt with the outside wall here, that minty, greeny, bluish colored wall that has become synonymous with this racetrack over the years. But Maher not quite able to close in on Canizaro just yet. So Bill Edwards a little bit further up the road, about 0.3 of a second in front of Jamar Dumas as the racetrack battles start to wane just a little bit. Now 10 laps away from seeing end of stage number 2 here as the clock ticks 9 o'clock Eastern here on 3Y TV. I want to thank you all for tuning in here tonight. If you have not joined the 3Y TV Pit Crew membership, you can actually jump down there and click the join button. You can become a member of the channel for just $1 a month. Get some custom emotes in the chat, like the big green flag, which we've seen a lot of here tonight. Only one caution, and it has been the stage caution that we saw a little while ago. Let's check out this battle, though, once again. Let's see if we can ride on board here with Tristan Thuggy Ma here. Bob, why don't you take us for a lap around the Homestead Miami Speedway?
Yeah, so here we are going down the long back straightaway, and right here is where you can kind of make your decision. Do you want to go all the way down low like you see the 12 Canizaro doing? Do you want to go a little bit higher up? And right about here is that sweet spot where you're kind of straddling that bottom seam. That'll get you the most grip coming out of the corner. And then here we are down the long front straightaway. Both straightaways about the same. The corner is about the same as well. But here's Maher going up towards the high line. This is really about as high as you're going to want to get here in the iRacing sim. Obviously, in real life, you can go all the way up against the wall, but really you're not going to get as much grip up there in this sim as you will in real life. But you are going to get one heck of a run coming out of the top side of the corner. And he does. He was able to close the gap there on the 12 of Canizaro by running this high line. He says, you know what, I'm going to do this one again. And look at how much of a run he gets off the corner, able to get a little bit closer there to the 12. And that is your lap here around Homestead Miami Speedway.
Yeah, working lap number 69 here tonight for the final time this season. The stage caution will be flying here in just a moment. Really, the racetrack is starting to quiet down just a little bit. You can see the different drivers out there by their car number on the racetrack and how the field really has spread out under this particular green flag run, unlike the last one. Although we are starting to see this battle growing. This is the battle between Jason Gracias and Alec Daffin. Currently, Alec Daffin is in fourth, but he's running down Jason Gracias here for that position. Gracias, I believe, on slightly older tires on the number one machine because he pitted there before that last stage caution. And Daffin, you're going to try and put the pass on him for third before the caution flag comes out.
Yeah, you want to try to get as many stage points as possible. Only a couple more laps until that stage break comes. Daffin going to drive it in deep on the top side. You'll see a little bit more banking up there. That's what the progressive banking means when we talk about that. And because of that, got a little squirrely there, but he's able to keep it going and carry a huge run down the back straightaway. And Daffin's going to have this position if he has anything to do with it going in this corner. But here comes Gracias down low.
Yeah, Gracias trying to fight back, trying to find that grip. Now he's going to slide up the racetrack. This is really where Alec Daffin's going to get that advantage, and he beat me to that punch there. He just rocketed off. Just as I was saying, he's going to have the advantage up off the corner. But that number 48 has worked his way up into the third spot. While we were watching this battle, in fact, just as we were watching this battle, number 50, Bill Edwards, also just put a pass on the number 99 of Philip Scott. This was for the 6th position. Keep your eyes on the number 50. Just found grip mid-corner, got the power down a little bit sooner, and rocketed on by. So that puts Edwards in the 6th spot here. Just a lap or so away, or 2 or so laps away from the next stage caution. Let's check out Tristan Thuggy Maher. Still running behind John Cannizzaro Jr., but we're also got this battle right here. Bill Edwards now making another pass. He just got past Matthew Rodriguez to move Bill up into the top 5 again, picking him up, laying him down here late in the run.
Yeah, Peter, that is a very important battle, too, because the battle for second in points coming into tonight's race, only 2 points between he and the 99 of Philip Scott. So each one of these positions is incredibly important in that battle to see who comes home second in the championship standings.
Now look at Alec Daffin. Not only has he got around Jason Gracias a couple laps ago, he mowed on down James Arello. So Daffin now up into the 2nd position. Don't think Daffin's going to catch our race leader J.D. Laird before this caution flag coming out here. But Lorello wants to fight back. He's going to try and hold strong on the inside. Alec Daffin going to use that high line. He gets loose on the high line, though. I was just about to say, this is where he got that big advantage last time, but threw that advantage away as all 4 tires there sliding above a turn number 4. Great save there by Alec Daffin.
Yeah, just got a little bit squirrely there coming through the corner. Somehow he was able to keep it out of the wall and off of the 13 of Lorello. But because of that, he's able to keep Lorello just behind him. So I'm interested to see here if Lorello decides to send it off into the corner here.
Daffin goes down to the inside to take away Lorello's line, and Lorello slides up the racetrack. Nothing he can do. So this will end the stage here in just a moment. Laird is going to win stage number 2. Daffin in 2nd. Lorello in 3rd. Gracias in 4th. Bill Edwards in front of Matthew Rodriguez. Philip Scott going to take 7th at the end of stage number 2. And taking home the final spot and final point is Shamar Dumas in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast number 28. Link to their Podbean is in the description of the video if you want to listen to Jimbo and all he has to say about sports across the US of A. Of course, it's a very important time. You're coming up on the Stanley Cup finals. You got the NBA finals going on. It's always a fun time of year when you got those both going on in tandem. But if you want to listen to the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast, you can. Link to the Podbean is in the description of the video. But interestingly enough, Bob, John Cannizzaro Jr. has missed out on points in both of the stages here tonight. In the number 12, it really seems to be struggling to find a little bit of pace in that Ford Mustang.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised with that. He had some great practice laps, and he qualified 2nd for tonight's race, and just kind of hasn't exactly lived up to the practice and the numbers and the laps he was putting up before the race started. So I'm a little surprised, but then again, doesn't really have all that much to push for. He's basically already won the championship, so no harm, no foul, but I'm still a little surprised that he's kind of mid-pack tonight.
Yeah, I as well. JD Laird leads a herd of drivers down pit road. Alec Daffin in the number 48 first to find his pit stall. JD Laird right there at the end of pit lane. Maybe we see a possible lead change on pit road? Not sure. John Eckhart, the fourth up there in the Klondike machine, trying to find his pit stall. Maybe that's what he'll do for a Klondike part this time, find his pit stall, as he finally does. JD Laird, Alec Daffin, Bill Edwards, Jason Gracias, your first four off pit road. Then John Canizaro Jr., Philip Scott, going to be sixth off pit road. But we do want to bring notice a lot of drivers staying very, very long on pit road. In fact, Matt Rodriguez there, Javar Dumas, Dougie Maher, John Eckhart, James Arello, all on pit road for an extended stay. Lorello getting some damage repaired in the number 13. Wow, that's kind of crazy. Was very fast there. Good finish at the end of the first stage caution. But we do want to highlight one driver here tonight, and that is none other than this one right here. Kevin Stone is our Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dog Award winner under caution flag number 2 here tonight. Potentially the last caution flag of the night, as we have only seen cautions come out for the end of the stages here. We've seen a couple drivers with damaged cars. Vincent Valvano's got front end damage on the number 64 Bagcraft machine at the bottom of the screen, but not enough to bring out a caution so far just yet, except for the end of stage number 1 at the end of lap number 38 and the end of stage number 2 at the end of lap number 75.
Yeah, very, very clean race. And this race, I'm sure I'm going to jinx it now with the broadcaster's curse, but this race really does have a green flag feel to it. And, hopefully that is the last lucky dog we see. There are a few drivers one lap down. Mike Floppy Tellier, Vincent Valvano, and Fernando Matos are the 3 drivers who are still one lap down for tonight's race. So, I'm sure they're sitting there saying, all right, come on, let's get some more yellows here. I need to get back on the lead lap and give me a chance to get back into contention with this thing. But so far, it's a pretty green-looking and feeling race right now.
I'm glad that you said the green flag feel, because I totally would have said green flag feel if I tried to say that fast like you did. But nonetheless, pace car lights are continuing to twinkle. I was hoping to get a word with Alec Daffin. He's not in the Discord either. So let's see if we can jump on in and see if we can get a word with one of these drivers, and see if the pace truck lights. The pace truck lights turn off. I don't want to jump on pick someone else out, jump on someone, and all that, because that can all go bad. It's happened before here on 3Y TV. Fernando Matos in the Signarama number 24 machine is taking the wave around here. He'll get one of his laps back. He's currently being scored 1 lap behind the leader. Vincent Valvano, Mike Floppy Tellier also being scored 1 lap down. So JD Laird will lead us back to green here very shortly over Alec Daffin. And it's going to be interesting to see what Daffin can do, because he did not have a lot of pace under that first run. Found pace in that second run. Here we are, Bob, about 50 laps or so away from the finish. Is it go time for Alec Daffin?
Yeah, I feel like it has to be. I mean, we saw in that second run, he's got a long run speed car, and, I don't know if it was just a lot of tire saving and then at the end said, all right, it's time to go, or what the plan was. But, I really think we're looking at 2 of the best drivers tonight right here on the front row, with an honorable mention of that red and white number 1 machine in that second row, Jason Gracias. They've really been the class of the field as this race has been running so far tonight.
Green flag in the flagman's hand. We're back racing here on lap number 81. Just over 50 laps left here in the season. We're under 100 miles left to go. Alec Daffin side by side with Jason Gracias as they work their way through turns number 1 and 2. Gracias getting loose. Gracias getting wicked loose. I'm sure Gracias is very glad there wasn't another race car beside him, because he came way down the racetrack with that thing all types of sideways. Meanwhile, side-by-side battle right here. Bill Edwards, John Canizaro Jr. Canizaro, remember, Bob, had short-run pace earlier in the night in that first run, as Bill Edwards flirts with the outside wall, almost reaching out and grabbing it off of turn number 4, but Canizaro able to hold on. He's up back into the 4th position. So after striking out in both of the stages here tonight, got no points from the stages, he's now racing inside the top 5. Once again, can he hold on to that pace over the long run, though? That is yet to be seen. Meanwhile, back behind him, close racing. Bill Edwards, Matthew Rodriguez here side by side, and right behind him, Philip Scott and James Urello side by side. We saw a long stay on pit lane for the number 13 machine, but some of these other drivers also stayed on pit lane for quite some time. The number 57, Matthew Rodriguez, a 33-second pit stop. That's not normal. As we think about 3 wide back behind him.
And you could fit all of these drivers under a blanket with some extra room for someone else if they want to join in. I mean, these cars are all over each other, and somehow they're making this work. Although I'm sure they're giving and taking right now, but they're still somehow making this all work.
Yeah, somehow making it all work and putting on a good show for everyone back at home. Jimbo is in the chat. Jimbo, how's it going here tonight, buddy? Hope all is well with you. I'll be curious to know what your hot takes are on what's going on up there in Philadelphia with the Philadelphia Phillies and managerial changes going on. And I'm going to have to listen to the Stay Tuned Sports podcast here this week as Alec Daffin and John Cannizzaro Jr. side by side down the front stretch. This would be third for Cannizzaro as Daffin lost a spot to Jason Gracias. I don't think Daffin's too concerned with that, though, here, Bob, because he, under that last run, has a long-run car. Started to march his way up to the front. He's been running that higher line to help save some tire, I think. It's a longer way around the racetrack, and if you can get an entry, if you can kind of gingerly get it into the corner, you'll be okay. The biggest problem is people who run that high line and just eat up the right front because they use that right front to help slow down the car. It can really eat through your tires if not done properly. Alec Daffin, though, as shown here tonight, he knows how to do it well in the Twitch number 48. Back behind him, Matthew Rodriguez rounding out our top 5, and Tristan Thuggy Maher. What a good run this has been for Thuggy after, I believe, our first Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dog Award winner here tonight. It's the number 17. Works his way on forward. Here comes Lorello, though, peeking to the outside.
Yeah, Lorello looks to the outside. He's going to try to split the difference. That's not going to work as he's able just to fall back in line with the 17 of Maher. Those two drivers actually now tied with Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dogs. So, maybe they're just kind of saying, all right, I'm a little bit better than you right now, and we'll go at it from there.
The Maher in the number 17 pulls away just a little bit. Meanwhile, the Silent Syndicate Racing teammates side by side back behind him. As Lorello able to squeak on by Edwards and move Bill back to 8th, but we've seen he's one of the longer running cars here tonight. There are several that just seem to march their way towards the front as the race goes on. Meanwhile, Alec Daffin's going to have his rearview mirror full with Matthew Rodriguez here. This is the battle on the racetrack for the 4th position. And it seems like a couple of these drivers just been locked in battles with one another for quite some time, Bob. We look away, and all of a sudden, Rodriguez and Daffin are back together on the racetrack as Rodriguez, I think he caught the apron there on entry to turn number 3.
Yeah, that was scary. I don't know if the 48 slowed down more than the 57 expected, or if the 57 just kind of caught too much apron there, but I thought for sure they were going to run into each other. That was really, really close.
Yeah, it was close. It might be Rodriguez trying to do a little bit of evasive maneuvering. But at least for now, Daffin's going to hold on to that position. Back up at the front of the field, though, J.D. Laird appears to be slowly getting caught by Jason Gracias. So I'll keep our eyes on that. No real side-by-side action at this moment in time. Let's see if we can go on board with Philip Scott in the number 99. He isn't really having the night I think he wanted. He probably wanted a little bit more pace out of his Ford Mustang, currently running in the 9th position. But Philip, if you're behind the wheel right now and you're listening here on 3Y TV, learn from what that number 50 in front of you is doing, because the number 50 is doing a fantastic job saving his tires on the long run. As Philip goes a little bit lower there on the racetrack, and Bill's been really impressive with the way he's been able to save the tires on that Camaro. Late entry there for Philip Scott this time. Cuts back down to the bottom to the white line. You see him sawing on the wheel just a little bit, letting it get a little bit light and airy up off the corner. Sometimes you have to do that just to avoid scrubbing those tires. Running right in front of Jamar Dumas, who currently is rounding out our top 10. But let's see what's happening here, Bob, with this battle for position. Right there, you see it, between Tristan Thuggy Maher and James Zarella.
Yeah, these guys have been all over each other's back bumper for the last couple of laps. Just a really strong battle there. Lorello trying to get a look underneath of Maher. Can't quite do it, as Maher is going to exit the corner just a little bit higher, able to get a tiny bit more of a run down the back straightaway here. But, I mean, this has been one heck of a battle, with Lorello just having the hardest time trying to get around the 17 of Maher.
Yeah, now Maher slides up the racetrack, opening up the door for that number 13 machine, as unfortunately we're hearing Fernando Matos has just taken the number 24 to the pit lane, and it might be night done for the Brazilian driver, who his father is sponsor of tonight's race, the Signarama of Hollywood, Florida. There's a link in the description to the Signarama of Florida webpage. You can go check them out. There's a phone number. If you don't know what Signarama is, folks, if you need a custom sign of any shape, size, form, or format, Signarama is the place to check out. And good friends down there in Hollywood, Florida. If you don't know where Hollywood, Florida is, well, it's just outside of Miami, just to the north of the Miami area, kind of in between Miami and Fort Lauderdale. And really great place. It's where my wife and I honeymooned. In fact, we were in Hollywood, Florida 6 years ago today, because yesterday was our 6-year anniversary. And we were in Hollywood, Florida 6 years ago today, beaching it up and having a lot of fun down there. So Hollywood, Florida has a special place in my heart, and Signarama of Hollywood, Florida, a special place in my heart, as well as tonight's race sponsor, as we close in on 40 laps to go. Bill Edwards now starting to join this battle for the 6th position as well, down there on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Maher might be able to leg it out on Lorello here just a little bit, as in fact the entire field starting to separate from one another. This is an interesting battle here on the racetrack, however. This is Vincent Valvano and the number 97 of Mike Floppy Teller. They're actually racing here, Bob, for the Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dog position if another caution flag was to come out.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good battle so far. They've been fairly even here. As I say that, the 97, though, Mike Floppy Tellier, able to get around Valvano there. But both cars, little battle worn here tonight. Some both front and rear end damage we see on the 97. Some front end damage there on the 64 of Valvano as well. So those cars definitely have seen some action earlier on in this race.
Up at the front of the field, you haven't missed a whole lot. That battle for the lead is pretty much stabilized. You can kind of see there, bottom right-hand corner of your screen, that over the last 10 laps, it's kind of fluctuated from about a half second down to about a quarter of a second. Now it's gotten a little bit bigger, getting closer to that half second mark again. And that lap even growing a little bit more, with the JDR Graphics Chevy Camaro starting to pull away. Laird now running way up there on the top side of the racetrack, using that line that Alec Daffin has been primarily running here tonight. As you see Alec Daffin lurking in the background. John Cannizzaro Jr. has been running in third now for quite some time, after not having the best long run pace here at this particular racetrack. I guess Bob will start to find out probably in the next 5 to 10 laps or so if Cannizzaro Jr. has figured out that long run pace or not.
Yeah, I'm thinking he might have. I mean, he's been holding strong there in third for quite a while. Alec Daffin, who had, after dropping back a few positions, able to make his way back up to fourth. So Daffin's car starting to come alive just a little bit here with about 36, 37 laps to go.
Yeah, just starting to, like you said, come alive. We'll see whether or not he's able to hold on to that position there, as we know that Alec Daffin has some good long-run pace as well. Speaking of good long-run pace, we've seen that out of this driver right here. This is Bill Edwards, who tonight is hoping to get another good finish and finish second place in points. He's battling with the number 99 of Philip Scott for that second place in points. He's picked up more stage points than the number 99 here tonight. That is going to be very beneficial to Bill Edwards, but you still want to also finish in front of that driver just to get that little extra kick out of your finishing position. So a former series champion here in the Total Nonstop Racing League is Bill Edwards, and he's looking to the inside now of his teammate James Lorello, as Lorello's way up there on the top side of the racetrack with those bright pink wheels at Lorello Sports. On that number 13, you can only think that he does so in support of his daughter. He runs a pink race car, Elizabeth Lorello Racing Team, and hopefully she's doing well, as we got pit stops here tonight at Homestead Miami Speedway. Great pit lane entry there by Bill Edwards, and all of a sudden, Bob, I'm starting to think long run pace might not be as important anymore if they kind of split the difference here and start coming down pit road.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw that these cars can do about 38 to 40 laps on fuel with some decent saving. So I think right now they're kind of in that pit window where if you want to make it all the way down to the end, you can stop now and, make your way fairly comfortably here, as we see a replay now of a pass between the 48 of Daffin going to the inside of Cannizzaro. He's going to take third place there. So, this is going to be interesting, the fuel strategy. We got more guys coming down pit road now, Peter.
Yeah, one of those is our fourth place driver, John Cannizzaro Jr. We just saw him get passed by Alec Daffin, but he's going to come down into his pit crew. There's one driver on pit road. Oh, that's Matthew Rodriguez. Something has happened to Rodriguez in the number 57 machine. Let's see what happened here. He's coming down onto pit lane, and oh! My goodness, those are tire barriers. That's not good there. Pulling a good old Mike Floppy Tellier. That will be night done for Matthew Rodriguez. Let's go on board and see what happened here to the number 57.
I know he and Floppy are good friends, but sometimes it's best not to learn from others. We saw him take a little stop at the Miami beaches. Unfortunately, those are in a can.
Jimbo Casterline in the chat saying he pulled a Jimbo here. One more look at this from the camera. Oh, jeez. Ouchies. Buried it deep into the sand barriers. But that will be night done for one driver who had been putting together a really, really solid race. JD Laird, though, still ticking away as your race leader as we're working lap number 77 here. He's going to try and push it just a little bit further into this run before he comes down to make a pit stop. And as I say that, I think I'm starting to see him slow down. Sure enough, good pit lane entry right there. No barrels to mention for JD Laird. In fact, I think, Bob, did you see how far away he was from the barrels? I think he even turned away from the barrels to get a little bit extra clearance. That's how you should be with those barrels. You should be deadly afraid of them.
Yeah, that was a good run there by the 46 of Laird, able to get on pit road and get everything squared away and away from those barrels. And right now, only a handful of drivers still on the racetrack. Looks like 4 by my timing and scoring here with that 48 of Alec Daffin, who's your leader. It's Daffin, Lorello, Eckhart, and Stone, the only 4 who have yet to come down pit road. They're last on pit road 30 laps ago, so they still technically could go about 8 to 10 more laps fairly comfortably before they have to make a pit stop. But as I say that, there's Lorello making his stop in the pit box now.
Yeah, so right now they're on the racetrack. Alec Daffin, who is your race leader. Look at this gaggle of drivers right here. Jason Gracias leading a little bit of a choo-choo train out here. John Cannizzaro Jr. there to the inside of JD Laird, battling for position. Laird has slightly fresher tires, 3-lap fresher tires than Cannizzaro. But currently, Laird finds himself behind the number 12 machine. This is the theoretical battle for the race lead once everything cycles on through. Number 48 of Daffin, though, is your race leader as they run right now. Interestingly enough, Bob, all these drivers getting around the 48 are unlapping themselves. The 17 there, Tristan Thuggy Maher, being scored in 7th right now, just unlapped himself. So Daffin, if he got a caution flag here, he'd have to come down pit lane. I think he's one of the only drivers with an extra tire set left. I think these drivers that just left pit lane used their final set of Goodyear tires of the night. And as such, if the caution flag comes out, it could be advantage to Alec Daffin. He's just going to continue to plug away here until he has to come down pit road. He's a little bit lower on the racetrack. Is he coming down pit road this time? Yes, he is. So Daffin will relinquish the race lead here in just a moment. Let's go up to J.D. Laird, however, who's battling with John Cannizzaro Jr. for position. Right now, this is the battle for the 3rd spot, as Alec Daffin was the last driver to come onto pit road. We'll have 25 laps to go this time by as Laird makes that pass. Matt Rodriguez in the chat saying, I got bored, decided to do a good send-off. I was wondering about that, Matt. Seems like all of a sudden there was no brakes left in the number 57 machine, but that will end your season on an interesting note, to say the least. Stay tuned Sports saying, I'm glad some people are trying to do my moves out there on the racetrack. So, Jimbo, don't be too hard on yourself there, but putting on a good show for us here tonight, nonetheless, and a good time for us here in the chat. Always love to see you, Jimbo, and your wife as well. When we're having deep philosophical discussions about pronunciation of words, like how to wallop someone, or if as one might say, melee someone. But nonetheless, great to have you guys in the chat here tonight, as always here on 3 Wide TV. Great fan base that we have here on the channel, and a great fan base that we have for Bagcraft Grand National Series. Go check out bagcraftcornhole.com if you have not so far this season, as well as Signarama of Hollywood, Florida, for all your sign needs. They'll be able to hook you up. So 24 laps to go here, as Jason Gracias is our race leader as of right now over J.D. Laird, but Laird is starting to close in just a little bit. If you're wondering what happened to Alec Daffin, he's on fresh tires. That's the good news. But Bob, he's being scored right now in the 8th position. A lot of work to do for the number 48.
Yeah, definitely a tough break there. I'm almost wondering if he was out on the racetrack just a little bit too long and kind of lost that opportunity to run the overcut on pit strategy there and, try to keep as many guys behind him as possible. He's fallen back quite a bit. Although he's, still about 9 or 10 seconds back behind the leader, that's still a lot. And 23 laps, he's going to have to hustle to try to make up all of this position, but I'm not sure if he's going to have enough time to get there.
Yeah, and he has a lot of drivers to pass around, or to get around, I should say, and pass. One of those being the number 13 of James Arello, who is not the easiest driver in the world to make a pass on. We've seen that over the years that he's been racing here on 3 Wide TV. So, it's Jimbo in the chat saying she might not be here, or she may not be in here for a couple months. She went back to school, but she misses you guys. Oh, Jimbo, hope all is well with her and her schooling. Tell you what, school is not the most fun thing. I've done it myself, and enjoy learning. Don't enjoy everything else that goes with school. As Alec Daffin puts the move on the number 13 of James Arello, gets himself up into the 7th position. Now he has about 9/10 of a second to run down our 6th place driver, Philip Scott, right there on your screen. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field here, Bob, this is potentially the battle for the win here between the 1 and the 46, coming to 20 laps to go this time by for the final checkered flag of the season.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. Last time by, it looked like J.D. Laird was about 0.2 faster lap time-wise over Gracias. Ran a 32.8 or 32.9 versus a 33.1. That time, they're about even in their lap times. So, this is going to be a good battle with 20 to go. This really, this could be exciting.
And I'll tell you what, how many times have we seen these drivers put on an exciting show for the end of these races? Because they always know how to get the job done here. And those late race passes that we see here on 3 Wide TV all the time make for a lot of excitement for everyone at home. JD Laird now looking to the outside of Jason Gracias. Nothing doing this time. Gracias slides up the racetrack. Will JD get a good launch? One thing I'm noticing, Bob, is remember that last run, they were running a little bit higher on the racetrack than they are now. Interestingly enough, JD Laird is decided to go to that lower groove, but they were rim riding a little while ago using that Dale Earnhardt Jr. type line here at this racetrack. I'm not seeing that as much in turn number 1 and 2.
I'm wondering if it's just a matter of a little bit of mirror driving on Gracias's part, or the 46 kind of trying to force the one to run a line that he doesn't want to run. A lot of head games going on there between these two drivers, but it's all about strategy, trying to save tires. And as we say that, look at that, the 46 of Laird, he's going to go all the way down to that white line. And Gracias, a little higher of a line. The 46 is going to get a good run, but the one's got momentum on his side. We'll see here now if the 46 can take a little peek to the outside.
Yeah, now he's going to use that tire line and see if he can find some speed. Let's go on board with driver the number 46, JD Laird. 17 laps to go. Make that 16 and a half as they race their way down the backstretch here at this 1.5 mile racetrack. These laps click by in a hurry. 34-second lap times by both of these drivers right now, or thereabouts. That gives us probably about 9 minutes left in the season here as they go across the start-finish line. Which of these drivers is going to go to victory lane now? Laird is going to go to the bottom side of the racetrack. Gracias up to the high side. Bob, that might have been that mirror driving we were talking about, because Jason Gracias saw that Laird had gone up to the top side of the racetrack the lap before and said, I think Laird's going to go up there. So Gracias went up there and Laird said, hey, you know what? You're leaving the bottom open for me. I'm going to go down there as they almost make contact through turn number 3 and 4. Good driving between these two. Which one can get the power down first? It's a drag race to the start-finish line. Well, not much of one anymore. Gracias pulls ahead.
Yeah, good job squeezing Laird down, not able to get him enough room to come off the corner to produce a bit of a run. Now they both go to the high side. This is interesting here as Laird tries to peek down a little bit, can't quite get anything going. And now 15 more times around, now 14 and a half really, for these two drivers, as Laird trying everything he can to get around the one of Gracias.
Meanwhile, a little bit further back, Alec Daffin is continuing his charge up to the front. That's a pass on the number 17 of Tristan Thuggy Maher. So Daffin has about 3.5 seconds to catch up to the next driver in front of him. That is John Cannizzaro Jr. We'll see. We'll keep our eyes on that gap, see if that gap continues to come down. Meanwhile, a little bit further back in the back, John Eckhart IV just got around Kevin Stone, putting Eckhart into the top 10 here tonight. But Gracias did that undercut. I've seen Gracias do it before, and it's really worked out for Gracias in the past. And he's one of those drivers, also pretty difficult to make a move around. He's a smart driver, as Jason Gracias won a lot of races here on the channel. So we'll see whether or not Gracias can get back to victory lane here tonight, but I would not be surprised if the number 1 can.
Yeah, definitely. He's got 1 lap older tires than Laird, so really not much of a difference in tires between these two drivers. It's all going to come down to line, momentum, tire management, tire saving, and just driving skill in general, as these two have been nose to tail for the last 8 laps with 12 to go. And here's Laird. Laird goes to the inside. He's going to dive up, and he's going to slide up. This might be a good opportunity for the one to cross over as they head down the back straightaway, and he does.
Crossover move engaged. Gracias and Laird side by side down the backstretch. Gracias just has a little bit of a shark nose ahead of the JDR Graphix number 46. Laird trying to hold tough on the high side. If he can stay there, he will get a good run off of turn number 4 unless he catches the wall. He does not. Now again, it's a drag race to the start-finish line. Gracias still with that shark nose in front of his Toyota Supra. Great battle. Now Gracias slides up. He gets wicked loose, has to save it, and JD Laird scoots around the outside. That was almost a huge moment for our front two, but give the battle to JD Laird.
I was about to say Gracias had the better line going into the corner, albeit just a little bit low. I don't know if he overdrove it or if the car just got loose on him as he came across that seam, but let's see here. Yeah, he's practically sideways heading off into the corner and just might have overdriven it a little too much, which caused him to slide up, and thankfully no contact between both drivers.
And thankfully no net code either. That could have been huge for those two drivers. Let's see if we can go on board here with Jason Gracias. Let's watch those hand movements there here on the screen. Goes off into the corner and it starts sliding up the racetrack, and it really didn't look like he was loose from that angle. He just kind of kept the wheel straight, and it kind of wallowed on him on entry into turn number 1. That was kind of weird, but give the advantage to JD Laird. Gracias running now in the second position, about 1 second back. Alec Daffin, however, is running down John Cannizzaro Jr. Let's go on board here with Daffin. 9 laps to go. Kind of be really difficult for him to catch the race leaders, but fresher tires here for the Twitch machine. And you can visibly see here, Bob, he's closing in on John Cannizzaro Jr. It's just a matter of time. Probably going to make this pass here in the next lap, one would think, as we go across the stripe. 8 laps to go.
Yeah, and I'm sure Daffin's sitting there saying, all right, if I can get a caution now, I should be able to catch these guys. I have better tires. I have fresh tires in the can if I need them. But, I mean, he's definitely got the faster car, the better tires saved up, but I just think it might be a little too late for the 48 machine.
Yeah, I agree that it is just a little bit too little, too late, I would say. But nonetheless, up to third on the podium for not the first time this season. We've seen a lot of pace out of Alec Daffin since he joined the Total Nonstop Racing League. Look at this battle. This is the battle between the number 13, the 50, and the 17, and Tristan Thuggy Maher was giving a little bit of the chrome horn, I think, to the back of Bill Edwards there off into turn number 1.
They have done everything they can to wreck, but still have yet to wreck. Even coming out of 4, it all started with the 50 getting into the wall, came down, bounced off of it, collected the 13, and the 17 was just kind of an innocent bystander between the S2R guys getting into it with one another. But somehow they were able to not wreck. Here's the 50 right there into the wall, into the 13. The 17 says, all right, I'm going to come on through. And, oh, wait, nope, the 50 goes up to jump in front of the 17. 17 didn't exactly like it too much.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that little bit of chrome horn was a little bit, hey, buddy, what the heck are you doing? But unfortunately for Bill Edwards here, he's in danger of losing a spot. And there's contact. They're rubbing, they're banging, they're beating and banging with 5 laps to go, not giving each other an inch of room, and somehow they keep things pointed in the right direction. And Edwards throws a block on Maher. Maher now says, you know what, I'm just going to dive right down to the bottom side of the racetrack. Who's going to take this spot? Maher with a good run through the center of the corner. Edwards trying to be fast up off, but Maher shuts the door. Here comes Edwards. Crossover move, engage. He gets loose.
Man, if I'm a leader, I'm really hoping I'm not watching this broadcast right now, because this would be making me so nervous that they're going to get into each other with 4 laps to go. I mean, the way they're racing, who knows what could happen. But as we say that, look at this. Alec Daffin, hot on the back bumper of the one of Jason Gracias.
Yeah, JD Laird has scooted off into this and 3 seconds up the road, but Alec Daffin showing that long run pace. We were a bit concerned that he had left that pit maybe a little bit too little too late, but nonetheless, he's going to be able to presumably make this move on Gracias. Caught him from ways back, quite a bit fresher tires on the 48 Camaro, and going off into turn number 1. You would think Daffin will complete this pass here in a jiffy, and sure enough, he does. Let's go back to that battle that we were just highlighting a moment ago between Bill Edwards and Tristan Thuggy Maher, because they're putting on a show for the fans. They're letting it all hang out there on the racetrack. This is really the only other battle for position, unless Alec Daffin is able to close in about a second a lap on J.D. Laird. Not seeing that. Oh, there's contact. There's more beating and banging. Bob, they're not giving each other an inch out there on the racetrack. This time Edwards gets in front.
Absolutely not. They're getting ready for the Stadium Super Truck Series starting next week, and just bumping fenders just a little bit there to give the fans a little bit of a show. But this has been such a fun battle to watch between these two guys, because ever since Edwards got into the wall there, he and Thuggy have been practically attached at the bumper here, and been a fantastic battle. And a little bit of pushing and shoving here, but all's fun and fair here with 1 lap to go.
1 lap to go. J.D. Laird, we're going to keep our eye on the number 46 machine as well, as he's working his way around the racetrack for the final time onto the backstretch. White flag is in the air, like we said. For the final time this season, working his way through turn number 3 and 4. It has been a tough season for J.D. Laird. He's had highs, he's had lows, but he will finish the season on a high, coming out of turn number 4, taking the checkered flag from the pole here tonight. Alec Daffin going to come home second, third to Jason Gracias. John Cannizzaro Jr. will take home the championship with a 4th place run here tonight. Meanwhile, Bill Edwards going to come away with that 6th position with a late race pass on Tristan Thuggy Maher. Bob, I'm sure in the moment they probably are a little bit frustrated with one another, but at the same time, I bet they had a blast out there tonight.
That's for sure. It was so much fun watching those two guys battle it out, and now we're going to see some dueling burnouts here between the 46 and the 13, or the 12 rather, of John Cannizzaro, the race winner and the championship. And Thuggy slide in saying hi backwards.
Oh, that's one way to do it. That is one way to do it. John Cannizzaro Jr. going to do some burnouts here on the front stretch. J.D. Laird in the number 46. Hopefully we see some good burnouts from him. Cannizzaro doesn't care. He's already lighting them up here on the front straight. Dual burnouts. Come on, JD. Come on, light up those rear tires. We want to see you light them up. We want to see you light up those rear tires. You got to win too, buddy. The number 12 walks away as the series champion here in the Signarama of Hollywood, Florida 200. Doing a long burnout down the front stretch. JD still sitting stationary. Maybe he blew the motor here tonight. Not sure. Now he's finally rolling. Gonna come to the start-finish line. Come up here, do some donuts. There he goes. JD Laird, winner of the Signarama of Hollywood, Florida 200 here tonight. RC Planes in the chat saying congratulations, Sean. And GG's to all for a great season here on 3 Live TV. Alec Daffin coming home in second. Good run for him. Philip Scott going to lose out second place in the points to Bill Edwards. Stay tuned. Sports giving congratulations to John Cannizzaro as well. Dual burnouts here on the front stretch. Don't you love to see it, Bob?
Oh, absolutely. Anytime there's more than one guy doing some donuts out there for the win, it's always a good time. And, the race winner and the championship winner, good season for both of them. And, man, that was a fun race.
Yeah, it definitely was a fun race. We're going to get some post-race interviews for you lined up here in just a moment. Let's see if we can start off those post-race interviews as well. Actually, no, we already got people in the interview waiting room. They're already ready to go for their post-race interviews, so we'll see if we can pick up Alec Daffin. Sure enough, I think we're about ready to get going as J.D. Laird will work his way to victory lane, and I think John Cannizzaro is going to find his way to victory lane too. I was about to say maybe he's going to do like an Elio Castroneves and climb up a virtual fence or something like that. But let's start off here tonight, Bob, with the third place finisher, Jason Gracias. I believe you've caught up with him.
Yeah, I'm down here with our third place finisher for tonight's race, Jason Gracias. And Jason, first of all, congratulations on the third place finish tonight. Talk me through that battle between you and JD there with the last 20 laps.
Honestly, I don't even care that I got third. That was probably some of the most fun I ever had on iRacing with JD. It was just a game of trying to take the air out of his nose, and just trying to put my car in position to win. He pulled the ultimate slider on me going into one to get the high side for me. So kudos to you, JD. That was a ballsy move. And then going to the following turn, I just completely goofed on my braking zone, and I jammed the brakes a little too hard there because I didn't want to wash up into him and cost him a chance at the win. So I goofed, but congrats to JD. That was a hell of a battle, hell of a win, and congrats to John on that championship.
We were just talking in the broadcast booth there. That battle between you and JD, it looked like a lot of, almost cat and mouse saying, okay, this lap, this guy went to this line. I'm going to try that line, take his line away. And it was almost like a game of chess going at 160 miles an hour. Was that kind of how the feel was?
Yeah, it was. After stage one, when I ran out of fuel, whoever was up front had the aero advantage at this track, and it was significant. So I tried to short put JD by a lap, and getting the pit road, dude, I was close to spinning out and speeding, and then thankfully I beat him out. So I had an advantage, but I don't know. He just figured his track out a little bit better than me. He was able to kill me by like hundreds over the long run, and that really adds up. So yeah, but it was a game of cat and mouse. When I had the aero advantage, I tried to take his line away. I knew after like 15 to 16 laps, he could move up and use the high line to his advantage. So that's what we kind of saw me do towards the end. And then I slid off a 3 in the middle, or I didn't slide off a 3 in the middle like I needed to block his run. And he just got a super, super good run down the front straightaway and just pulled the ultimate slider. Dude, that was impressive.
And I think, too, with that slider that he pulled on you and the crossover move that you were able to get once he slid up in front, you were able to cut back down. It looked exciting from watching the race. I'm sure it was pretty wild there in the car as well.
Yeah, no, it was a ton of fun. I mean, honestly, whenever I get to race JD, we always have fun because we tend to race each other with respect, unless my net code kills him. But it's just fun being able to race with people like JD and Thuggy, like that, where we can just, lean on each other a little bit, but not necessarily wreck the other person. That really puts on good racing. And then really it's a good show for the broadcast, for the people watching the chat.
That is for sure. And obviously, this being the last race of the season, next season looks like they're going to be moving towards next-gen cars. What are your thoughts on the next-gen car? And have a couple weeks off before we start next season.
We'll see. I don't know. I don't really run next gen. I only ran one race at Phoenix, and I enjoyed that. But I haven't touched them since the new update. So I mean, I have no opinion. So I really can't say whether it's good or bad. But yeah, I'm thankful for everybody that raced with us this season. I was series director. We started off the season strong, and slowly towards the chase it dwindled down, and then we had a good turnout for the last race. So just thank you to everybody that came in week in and week out and put up with the league. Hopefully you guys stick around and run our I'm sorry. I have a brain fart right now. Our STS Stadium Truck Series in the off weeks. It's going to fill the gap on Mondays. Go check that out. And then 2022B should be announced here shortly by Garrett. He's going to take back over, and I'm confident Garrett will be able to make sure that we have stronger car counts all season. So if you're out in the chat and you want to check out Next Gen Car, sign up for 2022B. Come learn with us. It should be a ton of fun.
Awesome. Well, Jason, congratulations on a great season. Congratulations on the third place finish. And before I let you go, I'm sure you have plenty of sponsor shout outs for us, so let's hear them.
Yeah, just thanks to Tony Lucarelli and BagcraftCornhole.com for becoming our presenting sponsor. It's really nice having a guy like that step up and help us cover some of the costs that are associated with running an iRacing league. So guys, if you could, please go to his website, give him some foot traffic, pick up a shirt, a hat, sticker, support Tony, because he's helping support us. Thanks to Polyhedral Cathedral for coming on board as our Lucky Dog sponsorship. I'm curious to see who won the Luckiest Dog Award this season. Thanks to all the other sponsors throughout the season that have sponsored races, like Signarama this week. Thank you, Fernando Matos. We had S2R step up and sponsor a couple of races. C2 Graphix step up, sponsor a couple of races. Famucci Wear. So just thanks to everyone that was able to step up, sponsor us. Thanks to people who were active on social media, the JT Pools, the JD Lairds, Garrett Gleason, everyone who just retweets our links helps us get foot traffic, especially for the broadcast. Thanks to Through ITV for the broadcast. Thanks to Garrett for the platform and putting the league together. Yeah, good things to come down the road.
Awesome. Well, Jason, congratulations again, like I said, on the 3rd place finish. And we're looking forward to seeing you out there come 2022B.
Yeah, it should be fun. And thanks, everybody, for watching the chat. Leave a like on the video and subscribe.
Hey, what he said. Jason, congratulations again. And Peter, I believe you've caught up with another interview.
Yeah, I'm down here with tonight's runner-up, driver of the number 48 machine, Alec Daffin, who at points of tonight's race, a little bit concerned about the pace of that number 48, but found that pace in the last half of the race. And had the race been a little bit longer, Alec, you could have been sitting in victory lane. A very, very fast race car tonight.
Yeah, that first stage was not good. I ran a 16-to-1 steering ratio, which is what I usually run for 1.5 miles, but for this track or this race at least, it did not work out. I was a rocket on the long run there, but I just lost too much time early on. I could not keep up with those guys. But I finally figured out how to push a little harder, which helped me for stage 2 and the final stage. Having the tire advantage at the end there definitely helped. So ultimately, I finished where I should have, I feel like, but race probably could have been a little bit easier early on, but that's all right, though. It was still fun.
I think one question that we had up here in the booth in that last run is, do you think you could have pit maybe a little bit sooner to try and minimize that gap? Because those two leaders, Gracias and JD Laird, they were racing pretty hard. Do you think if you pit a little bit sooner, if it would have made an advantage tonight? Difference?
I don't know. Depends on. I would have had less of a tire advantage. It depends on how the math would have equaled out. The reason why I pit so late is because we were out of tires, and I was thinking if we got a late race caution, I would have had a huge tire advantage over those guys. But I don't want to pit too late if we didn't get a caution and screw myself for catching those guys. So I was just trying to kind of find a balance there. Maybe I could have pit a little sooner in hindsight, but I don't think I would have caught JD. It would have been tough. Ultimately, I still feel like I finished where I should have on speed. So it worked out.
Well, a great race for you, and you've definitely shown a lot of pace here since joining the Total Nonstop Racing League. And I believe next season there will be a move to the next gen cars, which have their own unique challenges. They definitely drive a little bit differently. And what are your thoughts about that? And will we see you again here in TNR?
I used to love that car. I hate the car with the passion now. I don't know. I probably won't run that full time. Maybe I'll hop in every now and then, but I'm going to continue to run the Tuesday night trucks, though. I like those, so I'll continue to race. Just I don't know if I'll race for a championship or not.
Well, you heard it here first, everyone. The number 48, maybe part-time next season, competing for wins and compete for wins you have done since joining the series here. Before we let you go, any shout-outs you'd like to give out?
I got to thank Shaw Racing Products, Team Shaw Racing. Thank you guys at TNR for the broadcast, or at 3YTV. Thanks everybody for putting on the league, and my Twitch viewers at 4Lex Bowman. That's 4LEXBOWM8N. And yeah.
You see, Alec, here's the thing. You say we're 3YTV, but we're really Team TNR as well. Both Bob and I have been members of TNR for what feels like almost 20 years now, because it is almost 20 years now. Pretty crazy. But
Don't
Alec,
remind me.
I know,
Wow.
right? But
Y'all
Alex,
getting old.
Yeah. Oh gosh, now you are reminding us. But Alec, thanks for stopping by. Congratulations on your runner-up here tonight, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for tonight's second place finisher, driver number 48, Alec Daffin. And now we go down to Victory Lane, where Bob Giaquinto's caught up with JD Laird.
Yeah, I'm down here in Victory Lane now with tonight's winner, JD Laird, and JD, man, you got to talk to me about that battle between you and Jason for those last 20 laps. Just some fantastic, clean, tight racing. And, Jason had nothing but great things to say, especially about that incredible slide job you were able to pull on him.
I hope it put on a show, because it definitely woke me up after the pit stop cycle when both him and John came out ahead of me. I'm like, oh, did I kind of flub this up a little bit? But I got by John a few laps after the cycle, and I just sat behind Jason and just had to wait for a moment. I felt like I had better long run pace than he did, so I just had to sit there, wait, and had to channel my dirt brain and go for a slider. And I didn't think it was going to work. I felt like I dove it in and parked it too hard, but I stayed even with him. Well, not even, but I stayed outside of him entering turn 3, so I knew all I had to do was kind of keep it there, and I probably would have been okay. And then it got really close. My pretty pixels about got dinged up, but Jason's a gentleman and a scholar. If it was anybody else, I probably would have been cleaned out, but got lucky because of that, and pretty pixels decided to do a little bit of donuts.
It was definitely a very fun battle between you guys. Talk to me about the pit strategy, especially early on. That stage break came right around when everyone was starting to run out of fuel just a little bit. How much were you able to save, if at all, to make it there in that first stage?
Well, Jason did a long run in practice, and it was 36 laps. And when they said the stage was 38, my PTSD of fuel at the Charlotte race when I was spotting / crewing Donnie in the Coke race, I'm like, I have to save fuel. I have to start from the beginning and just use the draft to my advantage, use the throttle pedal to my advantage. And I had, I think, a lap and a half to the good. It was at least a lap once the caution came out, and we rolled through. I was on the back straightaway when the caution came out for it to end the stage. So I was a lap good, just cruising around, coming to the line under that caution period. So I figured with Jason going 36, 38, 39 was definitely possible. It took a lot of restraint. Then I was lucky enough that I had both fuel saving and long run pace in the second stage, and it carried on through the other two. It was a different kind of race. I enjoyed it. I wish the sun was turned on, which means we would have probably been sliding around a lot more. But now the sun decided to take a nap and the lights came on. So it was a little bit more gripped up than I was hoping for, but it was still a blast.
Well, next year, obviously this being the last race of the 2022 A season, looks like they're going to be moving towards the next gen cars. What are your thoughts on the next gen cars, and are we going to be seeing you out there competing for wins and possibly a championship next season?
I'm not sure. I'm not a fan of the next gen the way it is right now. We'll have to see when the build comes out tomorrow. Because it is getting an overhaul. The build notes were released earlier today, and it is getting a little bit of an overhaul. So we'll see how everything goes there. If it's anything close to realistic, it'll be good, except around cars. But as of right now, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm probably just gonna free up my Mondays and enjoy the time off during the off weeks when I'm not spotting Donnie in the A Opens for prepping for Coke. But who knows? If the update makes the car drive really, really good, then I might whip up a next gen car and come play. But as of right now, my Mondays have now freed up.
Fair enough. Well, JD, congratulations on the win. Before we let you go, do you have any shout outs for us?
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to JDR Graphics, Langford Farms, Spirited by Brad, E-Racer, Josh, we're thinking about, Valvoline, Jake Swanson Shock Technology, Anderson Surfboards, Aquatech Glassing, Connecticut Realty Trust. Everybody that supported this series throughout the whole season. I know the car count kind of got dwindled towards the end of the season, but at least it ended on, I believe, a 16 car count for the season finale, which put on a decent show. Everybody at 3Y TV for broadcasting our races during this series and watching us drive our pixelated vehicles and our desks to the fullest. And I'll be tuning in on Mondays.
Awesome. Well, JD, congratulations on the win, and all things considered, hopefully we'll see you out there with us next year. But if not, we really do appreciate you coming in, racing with us, and turning some pixelated laps here. And it's been a blast for sure for having you here.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, that's JD Laird, our winner for tonight's race. And I believe Peter's caught up with the 2022A champion, John Cannizzaro Jr.
Yep, I'm down here in the other victory lane with the driver who finished fourth here tonight, but overall is our 2022 champion here in the Bagcraft Grand National Series, John Cannizzaro Jr. And John, you didn't have to do a whole lot here tonight, but wow, the opening couple of stages, you didn't do a whole lot, let's be honest. No stage points, but came alive late in the race, and that's kind of been how your TNR career has been up to this point. You're starting to really come alive.
You can call it sandbagging all you want. I did what I had to do. I kept my car clean, and after finishing second to Gracias twice, I have finished second to JT Poole. I have finished second to just about everybody in TNR for the championship. Finally, it's my time. I think I've been in TNR for about a year or two, and the first year was rough. I was new. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anybody. And then this guy named Ben Adams on Sim Shots gives me a truck opportunity, and here I am. I got a modified championship. I just worked my way up. I did laps. I watched everybody, and it finally paid off.
Yeah, finally paying off. We called you the wild child, a couple of seasons back, and maybe you need to throw that moniker away now, but still a little bit wild, especially on the dirt side. But nonetheless, John, champion this season. You go back, you look at the season, any key races stick out to you?
Quite a few. Obviously, Lucas Oil and Phoenix. Having the battle with S2R, that rivalry was a bit fun. Obviously, not at that moment it was. I was very upset at that moment with them, but it cooled over. We started having a lot of good racing from then. I think anything before that was just, like Darlington was just gifts. It was luck. It was Mickey Mouse wins. It got me a lead. I won the regular season points, and I came into the chase expecting to have a Kevin Harvick type chase and get it all the way to the end and then butcher it. And thankfully I didn't. I somehow maintained consistency, even though I'm probably one of the most wildly inconsistent drivers TNR will ever see. But I think the season in a whole was just up and down roller coaster. It was either wrecking or winning.
Well, winning is the way it ends up as the series champion. As we look to potentially move over to the next gen cars, what are your thoughts about the possible switch to those cars next season?
I've only ever driven them, I think, twice in my entire life on iRacing. So we'll see. I'll have to put some laps in, get a paint scheme, and hopefully it turns out the same way as this time.
Well, John, it's been a really, really good season, and of course we hope to see you back next season right here on 3YTV. I know you got some shout-outs, so let's hear them.
Jimbo from Staytune Sports. He's the biggest sponsor on the car. He's done everything. He's helped me in practice sessions. He's given me confidence. He messes with me in the chats and stuff. He plays a bigger role than he thinks he does, and without him, I wouldn't be running. I wouldn't have the sponsorship. I won't have the nice paint schemes or anything. So big shout out to him. Obviously, my father finally got him to start racing. Maybe we'll see him on Monday nights. Depends what happens. He's a big role too. He got me into racing and everything. Just everything to him. My mother too. She also helps me. She was watching. Ben Adams, even though he hasn't raced in a while, he's on a little hiatus. He got me back into league racing a year ago, and ever since then, I feel like I've improved.
Well, you've definitely improved, John. Congratulations on your series title, and we'll see you again soon here on 3YTV.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for our post-race interviews all the way with our series champion, Bob. A really good race here tonight on 3YTV. I know everyone is very, very congratulatory to driver of the number 12 machine, John Cannizzaro Jr., but it's time for us to go through tonight's final race results. Everyone wants to see them, so Bob, take it away.
That's for sure. Tonight's winner, the 46 machine of JD Laird, Alec Daffin, able to pull strong and move his way up through the field in the closing laps, able to pick up second place. Jason Gracias comes across third. Our series champion, the 12, John Canizaro Jr., comes in fourth. James Lorello rounds out the top 5. Bill Edwards comes in 6th and will finish second place in the standings. Tristan Thuggy Maher 7th. Philip Scott in 8th. John Eckhart the 4th, able to make a strong run at the end, finishing 9th, and Jamar Dumas rounds out the top 10, Peter.
In the 11th position, Kevin Stone in the number 14 Famucci Wear Machine, last driver on the lead lap. Mike Floppy Tellier coming home in 12th. Vincent Valvano 13th. Matthew Rodriguez 14th. Fernando Matos, the Brazilian-born driver, finishing in 15th. And Garrett Gleason rounding out our field here tonight. For the Signarama of Hollywood, Florida 200. Want to give a big shout out to Signarama of Hollywood, Florida. Make sure you check out the link in the description of the video, as well as the other series sponsors that we have here in the Total Nonstop Racing League that we need to give a shout out to here. Bagcraft Cornhole.com as our series sponsors this season. Thornton Graphix. Dunn Raceway Park, longtime supporter here of us here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. Make sure you check out the indoor off-road racing page that they have, and of course Stay Tuned Sports and their podcast. Link to the Podbean in the description below. Great to listen to during the workday is their podcast, and get involved in everything that they have on offer with their STS or stsports.podbean.com. Make sure you hit that up after this broadcast here on 3Y TV. But Bob, great season for everyone. John Canizaro Jr. comes out as our series champion, and a lot to look forward to next season.
Yeah, that's for sure. This season really had it all, with some fantastic racing, some drama moments at times as well. But overall, a really fantastic season, and I'm looking forward to next season already. I know we got about a 5-week hiatus before the next season, but man, I'm looking forward to it for sure.
I am as well. Well, folks, thanks for tuning in this season here to Total Nonstop Racing League. We hope to have big fields and all the action for you next season right here on 3Y TV. But until we meet again, stay safe and all that good stuff, and we shall see ya!